and just to show you what it looks like and how they do scale. Some people that I think do scale the right way. If you have one of those spaces that you have to shimmy and shake just to get in between them, we need to talk about it. That's not one of the things that you're supposed to be doing. And on my channel, we talk about design advice, not rules, but advice, because you can do what you want. It is your space. I'm helping both commercial businesses and entrepreneurs, as well as people in home, just figuring out how to make things work in their space. Today we're talking about scale. If you watch one of those videos about the top issues that designers see in your home, every single designer will tell you that one of the problems is that things are off scale. There's a variety of reasons why you might have things off scale at home. It may be a sentimental piece of furniture. It may be something that you bought a long time ago that just cost a lot of money you don't want to get rid of. It may be something that's great quality that you traveled with. It may be something that was handed down to you. Who knows? There's a plethora of reasons. But we all can't just refurnish our spaces every time we relocate and do a complete rule. We don't all get paid to do that. Sorry. But if you do get paid to do that, then you should refurnish your whole space. And even if you don't get paid to do it and you have the budget to do it, you definitely want to find things that are the right scale. If you don't, there are a few tricks. And let's see some ways that Restoration Hardware actually made it work. When I went hanging out in their store the other day, I got to see some ways that they finagled it. And I was like, let me show this to my people. You would appreciate this. Look at the size of this sofa. This is at least a 12-foot sofa. So if that's the size of the sofa, how big do you think this rug is that it's sitting on? Scale is not just about rugs or furniture, but also the accessories. Check out the size of these vessels on top of the credenza. And here, take a look at the exact size of the bench at the end of the bed. Side table. That side table is the equivalent of a coffee table. All right, at that trip of Restoration Hardware, there were so many different tips and advice. There were all different things about how to elongate the space and try to make sure that you can see more of the inventory. And there are other tricks to scale. You can play with scale with paint. That's one way that I like to do it. Manipulating the bottom half of a room versus the color of the top half of a room, or when you start painting a ceiling, making a place feel shorter, making a place feel longer. I recently was challenged with decorating my 40-foot hallway in this railroad style apartment, and figuring out scale was fun there. I had a chance to play with mirrors. I love to use floor length mirrors. Those are incredible. I can show you an example of some that I saw at the Restoration Hardware outlet. You don't have to spend all of your money on a mirror, although I do recommend you spend a good amount and get yourself a quality mirror that's the right size. It makes a difference, trust me. But you can use that in front of a window and capture even more light in the space. And the scale is important because you want to be able to see top to bottom. Even in the mirrors that I have in my hallway, I have them placed and positioned in a way that I can see everything from my hairstyle to the shoes on my feet when I'm standing there, even though it's not bigger than 48 inches. It's only a 4-foot mirror. Some of the other things you want to consider with scale is where it goes, which is the first. And if you haven't measured your space to figure out where something can fit, check out my video on measuring spaces here. That's an important one. The second thing you want to think about with scale is, will it fit in my space without me having to shimmy and shake and shaft in order to get in between this thing and that thing? The ADA regulations is for you to have about 3 feet of space. So that's the distance that you want to have. New York City. That's the distance that you want to have in between your pieces of furniture for people to move around. And the other thing is, you want to keep in mind, if your team rug in the dining room, your rug should come out past your chair about 6 inches, which basically, New York again, but it's basically enough space for you to pull out a chair and it still be on the rug when someone's trying to sit down and then pull it back in. So the larger scale furniture, the larger scale rug you would need, and getting the right scale of rug makes a huge difference in the space. I've seen far too many places that have like this coffee table and then a rug that's the size of the coffee table. Just take 4x6 and 5x7 out of your vocabulary, because the reality is those size rugs are not going to work. You should be looking at 8x10, 9x12, 11x14, or custom sizes, because if you take a look at the Restoration Hardware examples, you'll see what I'm saying. They speak for themselves. Those rugs are not 5x7 or 4x6. I think the only sizes they recommend for 4x6 and 5x7 is in the nurseries, like right in front of the crib. Which even that, 7 feet, 5x7. That's bigger than a crib, but anyway, I digress. I do want to show you some of the cool things that they did to elongate the light and pull your eyes up. They do it really well over there. Notice the varying heights of light that they utilize. Here we see these sconces with a nice long pole, and even though we have some artwork that falls short, there's another piece in a J that's above it to line it up with the mirror. The last thing to consider with scale is getting it into your home. You want to measure door frames, corners, all of the funky corners and spaces, not just the frame, not just the stairwell. You want to measure all of that to make sure you can get a piece into your home. You want to find out whether or not, this is like a joke. You want to find out whether or not it's shipped assembled. You want to find out if it's shipped in pieces. And if you're buying secondhand, which I totally recommend, or if you're shopping at outlets, which I totally recommend, you want to make sure that when you bring it home, you'll be able to get it in. If you've measured the stairwell, you know if you have to like flip it over the banister in order to get it up to the next floor and then flip it over again if you're a walk up, or if you have a freight elevator, or if you're lucky enough to have a garage and just regular sized doors to get in and out of. Some of my clients get creative. They push and pull furniture through triple windows, like Bay Area windows and things like that in their home. And the reason for that is because that might be larger than trying to get through their mudroom in older style homes. If all of this New York City transit is making you laugh, then comment down below. Let's talk a little bit more about my other videos. In that 40-foot hallway, you can get a good look at it in this video over here. Yep, that's where my daughter interrupted me. Some other things to note with scale is we actually had an issue where I couldn't get my sofa into my apartment when I moved recently, but I love this sofa and it's got great bones. It's an awesome frame and it's totally worth it. I'm going to reupholster it the next time that we move. In this instance, I was able to get it up the stairway. Well, not me, the movers. Let's give credit where credit is due. They were able to get it up the stairway and inside because I measured everything. But I missed that whole funky turn in the hallway to get down the whole railroad style business, so I had to call this company called Sofa Doctors, which is definitely an added expense. Sofa Doctors, and there are plenty of other companies like this, will come and disassemble your furniture, move it down whatever hallway or area, and then reassemble your furniture. So that's what they did, and it was an expense that was out of the blue. I do not recommend that you do that. Measure, measure, measure. Okay, so what did we talk about with scale? We talked about figuring out exactly where this piece goes. We talked about ways to make it work if it's too small. In this example, there's a lovely sideboard, but it is shy of the length of the wall. So what RH did was place 2 ottomans on either side that are the right shape just to fill up that space. If it's too big, you're out of luck, because the second tip was the clearance. You want to make sure you have your 3 feet of clearance in order to get around that particular thing. That's the ADA regulation. Also what I would suggest, just from a comfort standpoint. And then the last thing is getting it into your space, which technically should be flipped on the head. Getting it into your space should be first, but you can't think about that until you've thought about all the other pieces, or if you found the piece that you want anyway. If you started with measurements, you know what piece you should be looking for because it's something that fits those measurements, right? Right, we agree. Okay, so as you're doing your work with that scale, then I want you to take your time and figure out where it goes, what you can do to make it fit, ensure it goes in your house, and then happy purchasing. So let me know what you find in the comments below. I am curious to hear how it goes for you. And if you have any questions about scale or the pieces that are in your home, or even how you could make it work,
then comment down below.
If you liked the video, please like the video. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. I don't think you know how much you guys mean to me. I really appreciate every comment and every subscriber, so thank you for that. You could have been anywhere on YouTube, but you chose to be with me, and I appreciate that. So thankful for you, and we will chat soon, next Thursday to be exact. Bye.